I done it again, like I pressed the wrong one. This is going to be one of them streams. I'm sitting here going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I haven't gone live. I'm sitting there looking up and he's like, oh, I'm not live yet. Oh, well, okay. Well, can you? Because I turned it on, haven't I? It's on now. Sorry about that. It's been a bit of a day. No, not really. Right, so okay. Today might actually be a relatively short. I'm kind of ducking and diving it. Not necessarily a long stream tonight. Just a bit of an update and then answering questions. But the real reason for actually doing today is because I've got a new computer. Now, Appy, right? He's in here. He hates his surname and he's got it on there. Look, so Paul Applegarth. Yeah, I'm not going to call him that again. He's oh, you might have seen him on the About Us page. And I went to meet Paul on Friday, and two reasons. Well, mostly because he was developing this great little device that's really going to help my monitors. But also, he had that machine for sale at a reasonable price, very reasonable price, and he offered it to me cheaper if I came along to see him, so I could talk about his board. Now, I was happy to go and see him at board, but you know, I'm well pleased with my machine. I actually didn't think I was going to be that. I thought, well, because I'm not really a Commodore 64 fan. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice machine, but I was never that excited about it. This thing is a beast. It's not an Amiga though. But anyway, so the real reason for talking about it, ignore my last name, yeah. Call him Appy and you'll keep him happy. The real thing about this is, ignore the colours at the bottom, that's to do with the GBS, and we'll talk about that later. The key thing here is that Appy's developed, now he did this for the C128. Now what you're looking at there is the 80 column mode, okay? So as you can see, C128, and it says 80 column. And if I flick it, the monitor over to, I know I have, because of, the other one's got the S video in it, this one hasn't, so I'm just going to switch it to that one, which is composite. So that's the composite from the same monitor. Okay, now it can just as easily be S video, but it's composite, and actually it looks really, to be honest, it looks really good. But let's go back to HDMI. Now, bear this in mind. Now the secret sauce on this. What it does is, there you go. His little board, I'm going to show you in a minute, his tiny little board connects to this, like Byron's board connects the RGB SCART into this. Appy's board his board connects there as well. And what it does though is it allows the RGBI displays to work on my monitor. Now, this is going in via VGA. This is a standard one. I haven't as yet tested it with the GBS control, but I've no doubt it's going to work. However, that one there is running on a new HDMI version of this, and it's sharper. Okay, and as I said, ignore that little bit at the bottom. That's just a little bit garbage at the bottom of the GBS signal, and that can be removed with GBS control. So I'm not worried about that. But his board connects to this. As I said, I've got it connected to mine. Now I'm just going to take my little camera over, right, and I'll show you what I mean. That tiny little blue board is Appy's board, and that is the HDMI version of the GBS 8200. It's not called an 8200, but it's the HDMI version. So that's Appy's tiny little board. Okay. And all that does, and what that does, let's turn it back around, it's better to look at the, yeah. Oh, hang on, I had it on here, didn't I? Really? You don't get this on the BBC, I tell you. Turn that round. Are you going to stay there or are you going to fall over again? Stay there and be nice. There you go. So what it does is just basically takes in the signal. It comes in with a 9-pin connector, right? Plugs in with a 9-pin connector, and then you can have CGA and EGA. Now, I'm probably going to turn. I've got my little Amstrad next to it, if you can see that. In fact, what I will do actually. Right, what you're looking at now is CGA 40 column mode, because that's what I had it set at. Right, you might recognise this. How do I turn the volume down? Here we go. There we go. So what you got now is CGA mode. Now the EGA, I don't have an EGA machine, but the C128 gives out an EGA signal, the same signal. And Appy can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much compatible with EGA signal, 16 colours, etc, etc. So as you can see, it'll also do CGA and EGA. Now what we're doing is, we're going to see if we can merge the two boards, Byron's board and Appy's board, make one single board, so that we can have RGB SCART and we can have CGA, EGA, C128, 2 modes. Yeah, so you can get an awful lot of bang for buck out of that one little board, that one little pack. I may even spin it off as well, because I think it's going to be pretty useful. So that's I think really bloody useful, and you're going to hear a lot about that. But I'm now going to put it back because I think Appy's going to want to see, well, I would say his C128, but it's actually mine. How do you turn it off? Typical. Trouble is, can't see the connector at the back, but I want to get it back up because it's such a lovely display. I need some light. There we go. There we go. Right, so yeah, I got that back on again. So yeah, this it's another reason I was holding the project off, because we want I knew this was in the pipeline, and I'm really chuffed with this. It, you know, it really is. Apart from that, it's an amazing little machine. Let's get a cable out. It was in such good nick. So the keyboard's a little bit yellowing. I'm going to sort that out with the sun, but the actual case itself, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So, and the stuff he put inside it was amazing. So it's had the 8 column mode's been upgraded from 16 to 64K. He's put multiple ROMs in. He's got his own BIOS in it. Christ, and it's got an SD card with a drive 9 on it. I mean, Jesus Christ. So there's all this stuff on it, which is absolutely amazing. I will do a video on it. I'm not doing it now. I need to get to you to get to know it first. But I am going to do a video on the whole subject. Yeah, so chuffed, right? But it's actually going to make a massive difference, because what it's going to do is it's going to bring in a whole new crowd of people who want CGA and EGA compatibility, and that's a big deal. So that's going to be very important. Right, next. Probably some of you have seen these. This is a my my trays. No, sorry, my Checkmate garages. And this one, you ain't gonna be able to see it because everyone always asks me, is it coming in black? Yes. There you go. You should be able to. It does show the dirt. You should be able to hopefully see that. There's lots of pictures. I'll just switch over to my 2Chat. So here you go. Right, let me bring that up. So the idea is this is a low cost, and let me take the story behind it. The idea was, let's get the white one out. You've probably seen these pictures. You got some information there, but let me put the pictures up. Now I know Paul's watching, so I don't want to big him up too much because but he's done these amazing renders again. So I'm walking. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just bloody amazing. So we've got this one. In fact, actually, let's go full screen with these so you can really get the best out of them. Let me just see if this is it. Yeah, here we go. So there's this one. Actually, the display is actually not showing. Let me move this over a bit so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, there you go. No, you can't see. Hang on. Oh no, there you go. Well, that'll do. Right, so it's just showing off the trays in their various positions. Cool, that one. This next one's brilliant. Well, not that one. Well, no, they're all good, but not that one. I really like that one. Really atmospheric, and I like the Apple Drive in the back. And so you can see, you can use the tray for anything. You put monitors on it, you can put your computers underneath it. 500, I think it's a 500. It might, is it a 500? Might be a 1200. But it can take any. You've seen me stand on the damn things. So let's skip through. That's a lovely render. I mean, that really is. You really think that does look so real. Another one. Now the idea of this is really, I wanted, when I do the monitors, I don't want them to look rubbish when they're with like a 500 with an all-in-one. So if you've got like a 1200 or a 600, well 600 is small, but if you've got like a 500 or you've got an Atari ST or anything like that, BBC Micro, and my monitor, you're going to have cables that route around it. It'll look horrible. So I thought it'd be not. I've always wanted to do a stand. But Neil was saying, when I went to see Neil, he was saying about it. And I thought, no, Neil, I'm doing one. I'm just going to. Anyway, I'll push mine forward. Mine's different to his anyway. But I've concentrated more on the. I don't know if he's got a picture here. In fact, if we go back to, let me go back to this one so you can see. Can you see the cutout on the right hand side? So the idea is that overhang will allow you to get your floppy disks in there and still embed it back into the machine. It's just to tidy it all up and put a nice monitor on and maybe your floppy disk, that kind of thing. It's nothing special. It's 35 quid plus VAT or 32.50 if you buy a couple of them, more than one. It is plus VAT and shipping, obviously, but they are solid pieces of metal. Okay, and they're really just to make the monitors look nice on older machines, but also to get some product out there. Because one of the big bits of news is I'm in 2 months theoretically I'm switching from being 75 day job to 25% hobby job. I'm switching it round, so I'm going 75% cases and monitor, 25% day job. So I need to make sure I've got money coming in, etc., to cover. And I'm praying that the Kickstarter is a success for the monitors, hence taking my time. Right, let's skip through these. You've seen that one. I think that's a lovely picture. I don't know about you, but I think that's an absolutely fantastic picture. And that 64 looks amazing. And you can see the monitor. I'm pointing at it like an idiot. You can see the monitor on the right side without the stand as well. So it looks really nice without the stand. So that's going to be an optional thing. Now I'm going to be working on a new prototype, probably in the next week or two, with a lot of changes. Not massively different design, but there's going to be some big changes, which I'll talk about another time. Once I need to get some answers on panels, but a really important thing is I'm changing the whole way I sell the monitors. And it's going to sound really stupid, but hear me out. The idea is I'm going to sell you the monitor, controller, our internal breakout board, but no panel. So when you do the Kickstarter, if you do the Kickstarter, you won't be buying you won't get a panel, but the panels, that you'll be able to choose the one you want. So at the moment, the one I'm using now is my favourite choice. Okay, even though I know it's not the perfect colours, it's hard to explain. Everyone sees it, loves it, but if I put the thing next to it, you can see the difference. So we're looking at other panels to improve it, but I've had half a dozen panels and they're all rubbish compared to this. I haven't seen anything as good as this in the 4.3 aspect, 4.354. I haven't seen anything as good as this. 16.9s, yes, because this is an industrial panel. Okay, it's not a consumer panel, so that's probably the reason for the colouring. But the thing about it is that they'll last, right? Really last. They're designed to be turned on, left on as display monitors. So there'll be other models. Now I'm looking at brighter ones. I'm looking at potentially, probably not, hopefully OLEDs as an option, but that will, you'd have to, it's going to probably cost you a kidney for that one, no doubt. So it's all up in the air. But what will happen is once the Kickstarter, oh, for God's sake, I should say that, if the Kickstarter is a success, that'll pay for the things, and then what I'll have is I've budgeted to fly to Asia to visit the panel makers and pick the best 3 panels I can get, and just get 3 really good panels, various different types of panels to suit different people. Some people want them to be cheaper, some people want the best they can get, some people just want the one I've got now, which is kind of sitting in the middle. So there's going to be the options in you will, when it comes to shipping, like I did with my cases, you added any extras and your shipping charge, and the VAT. Okay, it's very important, this. Or unless you're abroad, then you don't pay VAT. But then you'll choose your panel that you want, and I'll have videos on it, etc., etc. So you'll be able to make your choice. The good thing about this, it means you'll be able to swap panels. You know, if you want to change your mind and put another panel in it, you can do that. And yes, they are coming in black. Before anyone asks, people always ask, why do I not make black cases? Because they look rubbish in photographs. When you've got the white ones, they look absolutely amazing. So let's skip through these pictures because what was it? Have we done that one? Oh yeah, that's them ports look great. These renders are just absolutely amazing. Right, so yeah, so I got my case in there with Lightwave. It's cool. I haven't looked at these last few actually. Fun enough. He does make lovely renders, doesn't he? Blowing sunshine up his butt here. Let's find that. What's the next one? That's another good one. I think that might be the same one. We might be going around in circles. Yeah. Okay, so we're going around in circles. So let's come back to this. It's not that one. It's this one. Right. So let me have a look, see if there's any questions. Oh yeah, checkmate game. Gang. Yeah. Yeah, he's autocorrected. Can you hear me? Yeah, no stream. Lol, lol, lol. That was funny, that was. In YouTube, can anyone hear you stream? Hiya, Mario. Videos at full screen at the moment, sounds great. MOP, hi Steve. Chat, very cool. Hi Paul. Hi Happy. How does C64 mode look on that monitor? Go 64 command. Well, as I said, it's actually running in composite at the moment. I haven't got S video in it. I can't. Do you know the problem is? I'm not really. I'll do it. Okay. In fact, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll zoom in because I know it's such a lovely. Let me just. Oh, hang on. Let's zoom back out a bit. Back out a bit so you can see it. Focus in. There we go. Right, so it does look nice and sharp, okay, but I'm bound to say that because I'm selling the monitors, aren't I? 64. Let's probably switch over to here now. There you go. Now ignore the lines because it's a right mess at the back of there, okay? And I've got wires hanging over the top of everything, so don't worry about that. But that's just going in composite at the moment. But it has got S video obviously, so you can put that in. But you know, it works now. You notice it's 4:3, and my bars are at the top and the bottom. But if I want to stretch the screen, because I've had this all corrected now, you should know this by now. Zoom 1 fills it, yeah. So it actually stretches to 5:4, or you can just leave it in 4:3, okay. And I think that looks pretty good. Let me take that brightness down. Picture mode, because I've got the brightness quite high. That's better. There we go. Yeah, it's got some vertical lines, but don't worry about that. It's just a bit of noise. But no, I think that looks alright. Looks nice and sharp. You've got your little bars at the top, your 4:3 bars. Now, one of the options you're going to get is you're going to be able to have a 1024 by 768 panel, hopefully. And that will be a true 4:3 for people who need 4:3. Yeah, you can get that. There's also going to be a higher resolution panel, hopefully. So all this is up in the air at the moment, and it relies on me obviously going to get the best I can get. And it also means that technically you can put your own panel in. The only thing is with you putting a panel in, as long as it's 12.8 by 1024, the monitor, the controller will just be happy with it. If you change the resolution, the firmware has to be changed accordingly to support it. So bear that in mind, because I've got 1024 and it needs a different piece of firmware. So that's kind of important. But I should have just left that test card, because I really like test cards. So I'm going to go and put that back on again. At least I think I'm going to put it back on. Yes. This will be where. Hang on. This will be where Appy will be laughing at me. 5 seconds, didn't you say? Appy's going, no, do the button, press help. You have to see this machine. This is, God, it's lovely. There you go. Test cards. B. There we go. Sorted. Yeah, the camera's kind of making those top lines move a bit, isn't it? Right, so that's that question. I love the C128, and he bought my C128D with 81. Yeah, look at that. This is lovely, yeah. I met you, Paul. I think, yeah, you're a good mate. I think there's a bit of bromance going on here, boys. Right, let me. Oh, I might as well leave that there, actually, to be fair. You don't need to see me, it's more about the computer, isn't it? You probably, it's okay now, but I did attend the meeting, we'll probably do chat at some point. Question, will the success of the Kickstarter still determine if there's a 17-inch version? That is a very good question, because things are still evolving. This is to do with the OLED panel. I don't know, there's nothing going on about it here, because I'm looking for OLED panels, but they only come in a certain size, and so it might mean making it smaller and it actually being by default a 17-inch panel with that smaller bezel, and then shrinking down to a 15 and then having an OLED. That's still up in the air now, because I'm waiting to find out if I can actually get OLEDs. So that will be clear soon. But at the moment, I still like the 19s, but they are quite big. I think a 17 actually like that would look fantastic, because it just shave off a couple of inches, and I think it would actually possibly improve the looks. But you know, that's still to come. But this is about me trying to give people options for panels, because everyone's got. I understand why. Totally, I'm saying the monitor. I get it, right? But this is more than just a monitor with a panel. This is a platform that you can put different panels in. You can put computers in it. You can put any retro plug into it. I mean, that's the whole point of this thing. It's really flexible. So the panels, I thought, I'll take them out of the equation, and then this one's my default panel, which I really like. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But it is a lovely bright panel, sharp, and everyone who saw it at the show thought it was fantastic until I told them about the story. But most people still liked it. So, the whole point is I want people to see it, and then once I've got these other choice panels, then we can do people can come along, because it'll be a long time while I'm making these monitors. It's going to be probably about 9 months. So you'll have plenty of time to come along, see what you think, and we can have open days, different places, and then you can, if you can't make it there, then you can go by what other people say. Now, bear in mind, an OLED is probably going to be really expensive, but it's at 0, millisecond lag, and blah blah blah. One thing was that everyone said, because I got some people have been moaning because this has got 17.8 milliseconds of lag, and I asked people to find it, and they were playing the game and they couldn't feel it. They just couldn't feel the lag. So I mean, you're literally 1/60th of a second of lag. So I defy anyone to actually notice that. But I know some people like to chase specifications. And of course, I do understand also the business with. Shall I focus me in a little bit? I do understand the whole thing with the CRTs. Let's try and get a mix. I do understand about the CRTs and the way. Well, it's basically not going to say the weaknesses, but the way they work. There's a certain amount of blending goes on, pixel blending, and the games were designed with that in mind. So when you put them on a really pin sharp display, I get it, right? I totally get it. That's not something you can really simulate, but then again, you can't buy CRTs like that. How many panel choices do we have to choose from? Don't know yet. I haven't found them yet. So that's exactly my point here, is that once the Kickstarter launches, once the Kickstarter is completed, people will be back in the Kickstarter on the basis that here's my default. This will always be the default panel, right? Because I think it's fantastic, right? And most people who see this love this panel, but I'm looking for better options. So it's only going to get better than this, right? Which you find hard to believe. But I will be looking for other panels, and then once I've got probably 3 choices, so like potentially a cheaper one, a good cheaper one, because that's actually a really expensive panel, and then maybe like a unicorn one, like an OLED or something like that, and just 2, say 3, maybe 4 choices of panels. Once I've got ideally 3, a cheap one, that one, and a really good high-end one. And then people have the option, and then it'll be probably halfway through the Kickstarter, because you won't have to pay that until I've actually chosen, you've made your mind up, come and see them and that kind of thing. So it won't be a big issue. But you just have to. Bottom line is people are going to have to trust me that I'm going to do this, and I will, because I'm budgeting the trip into the Kickstarter. Watch this project come together over time to be real. Yeah, thanks. It's been fun to do as well. I mean, meeting people like Appy, hilarious guy. He's really funny, right? And I wouldn't meet people like that necessarily. And you've got these people. Appy, close your ears. I don't want you to listen to this. Really clever people can do some really clever stuff, and all they want to do is have people use it. I obviously want him to make some money out of it, right? So we want to get a bit of both of that, because then he's incentivized to do more, and the fact that he's retired is absolutely fantastic. So that really helps, because obviously Byron and Robert are incredibly busy. They've got proper day jobs, whereas obviously Appy's retired, so that helps. Dave Swaggy. Dave, no, screw that. No, thanks, Dave. I haven't actually mentioned that, actually. Swag was absolutely fantastic day. Thanks, Dave, and everyone. I did thank people there, but it was a fantastic Saturday. And as always, it's such a nice atmosphere. So you go along. I mean, the funniest thing was when the museum people, they were doing this raffle, and they bought 2 prizes, an Amiga 500 and Atari ST, and all the jokes were coming out. It was great fun. But it was I didn't bring my Atari because I got one sitting over there, haven't I? On the Atari. But yeah, let's go back to I'll come back in a second. Right, Swag, fantastic event. If you get a chance to come along, they're going to have to grow. I mean, it was rammed, absolutely rammed. So they grew into that place really quick, and now they've surpassed it. So they're going to have to probably think about a bigger venue. Don't go too mad, Dave. But yeah, you're going to have to probably think about growing, because it's a fantastic day out. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, see, I should have actually. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. Come on, someone chuck it in there. What I was going to say. What was I going to say? I'll have a beer while you type up there what I was going to say. And today's beer of choice, Abbott. I like the odd beer. Right. Until I remembered the other point I was going to say a second ago, and then I went back to swag. Atari. Yes. Nice. Well done, James. Atari. So this is to do with the RGB SCART. My Atari doesn't work. I've got an STFM, and it will not work on the RGB SCART. It works great on VGA in high res mode. And I went to Greenford Computer Club, and one of the guys there had an STFM, and his didn't work. Well, actually, his wouldn't boot, so I think it was buggered anyway. But another guy had an STE, plugged it in, worked fine. So it seems to be there's a problem with the output from the STFM. Now, bear in mind that when I plugged that into my TV, my big TV, it was almost fine. But it did do this thing where the display would every couple of seconds. Well, probably a second, it would drop, go black, come back on instantly, lose a frame, and then come back. There's obviously a problem. So Byron's been looking into it, because he's got a similar problem, but his does lock on. It seems to be that there's a potential problem there. So we're looking into maybe seeing if we can change this, or Byron's looking into see if he can tweak the way he's got his way he's got it done, to see if he can alleviate if there's any problem. So yeah, so that again, that's the only one so far we haven't been able to get it work. I've had all the other, anything else with SCART plugged in, it's worked. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It's just a real shame that I bought the damn thing. I bought the STFM to show. In fact, no, I'm glad, because if I bought an ST and it worked, I'd have been telling everyone the ST's fine. But I bought a reasonably expensive, but I'm really pleased with my. Amiga fans are probably going to scream, but I'm really pleased with my ST, because that is it's actually a lovely original five. Well, I don't know if it's the absolute original, but the 520 STFM, really solidly built, and I will say probably better built than an Amiga 500. I mean, it's a pretty solid machine, so that's quite impressed there. Still prefer Amiga though, but anyway. But yeah, so that's we're looking into that. David Pears, all going ahead with Kickstarter. Well, the Kickstarter's still going ahead. It's just I want to. We're going to basically Appy and Byron got to talk. Byron's cool, so I'm going to get the two guys together and basically try and put the Appy's board, which is a very small circuit, hopefully be able to fit onto Byron's board if we jig it around a bit, assuming there's no issues that crop up. So I've got to get some bits off to Appy to do some testing. If that all works okay, then we can increase the functionality of our GVS board. So it'll have not only RGB SCART, but it'll also have CGA and EGA and C128 80 color mode, which I think is pretty awesome. So that brings in all of the PC crowd, which I think is pretty amazing. And that will open up the Kickstarter. I mean, it really will, because it won't just be Amiga owners, ST owners, and like console people. One of the things we did do is Dreamcast runs on it beautifully. We had a Sega Saturn, I think it was a Saturn, running on it, and that ran absolutely fantastically, even in Japanese 60 Hz mode. Now that we've got if you didn't know, we've had I've been for months, well, a couple of months, and longer than that, I've been trying to sort out the 4:3 aspect ratio. Well, so ever since the Norfolk show, someone came up and plugged in a Dreamcast, a Japanese one, and it was 60 Hz, plugged it in, and for some reason it was messing up. It was going 5:4 aspect ratio, and I tried to explain to the Chinese, of course, the language issues, but eventually managed to get to them, and we now have a true. When you select 4:3 mode on this 5:4 panel, you get 4:3 in black bars above and below, and when you select zoom 1, it fills it to 5:4. So that's really good. Now I've also got another mode, which I will show you, which is the best mode ever. This, I might zoom in again. Oh crap! Let's zoom out just a bit, and then right, yeah. Ignore the shimmering a bit on the top. That's just because of the camera. Right, I've got this new mode. Right, I don't know. Hopefully you can see this. Point to point. Point to point is my favourite mode. Sorry, I'm blurred, but it gets rid of my laughter lines. Point to point is fantastic because basically what it's going to do, I'm going to have a point to point x2. So what that means is it doubles the size of the pixels, regardless of if it runs over, and it just doubles the size. So if you've got 640 by 480 and you run point to point, it literally scales up to 1280 by 960, and it's perfect pixels. Okay, so they are perfect. If you look at, you can't see this here, but if you look at these pixels, they're perfectly square on this. I've measured them, and they are perfectly square, absolutely fantastic. So this panel here, and this controller, once we've had the tweaks done, that point to point X2, I think we'll also have an X4. So if you've got a 320, like a low resolution non-interlace, which would be really tiny, but you'd be able to do X4, maybe X3 and X4, so you can fill the screen up with that. But the pixels then be big. Now, that obviously you're not getting your lines, your scan lines. That's where the GBS control comes in, because that will do scan lines. So if you're going in SCART, you want scan lines, you can put that up there if that's what you want. But yeah, so that's all coming, and that's another reason why I'm holding off trying to get things absolutely the way I want them to be. Let's get a bit more focus. Don't need to be too focused, but right. Hey Steve, thanks for the swift refund after I paid. Yeah. I had 2 people do that. You know, the problem I get is, so if you ever buy anything off my site, it doesn't happen very often, it's very rare, but occasionally what happens is that you place the order, but my site, it's a timeout or something like that, and my site doesn't get the message in time, and it times out the session, and it doesn't mark it as paid. Now, when I get the emails the next day, I always get an email comes from the car payment services, and I check. If there's no transaction email from my system, I know there's a problem, so I go in and check every day, and I make sure they're all okay, and I mark them as paid. But occasionally, people pay twice, and that's what happened with Lee. So I spotted. Well, no, actually, I didn't spot Lee's. Actually, I spotted someone else's. It might have been Lee actually, but there was 2. As I said, it happens rarely, but in the last 4 days we've had 2. But yeah, so that's easy to just do a quick refund. What is so cute? And look, yeah, they do look nice on their computer. Have to drop, I'm afraid, as I'm nodding off. Being upset. Yeah, we'll go to bed, mate. Morning for an early release. All right, thanks, Brian. And thanks for the chat earlier. I had to get that clear. Get issues with our site with ordering too. Oh, okay, yeah, but that's just one of those things. But I as I said, I manually check all the orders, and although one did slip by, which I didn't spot, but then it's just a simple email, you've been charged twice. That's really rare that ever happens. I normally spot these things because I check every single one. Right, so questions, because again, I'm going to probably keep this quite short. Do you want to see the white tray? Now, this is actually the final prototype we made, and this is a hand sprayed one, hence I put on there hand sprayed. You can tell it's a crap paint job, but I took it to show because and it's good for photographs. You see, it's all the photographs you see with the computers. I use this one. It's the final design. And the best thing to look at the photographs on my website. If you go to that, have a look at that, and then you can see. They are selling, and so I would expect within 2-3 weeks I'll have sold this layout. So if you're thinking of buying one, don't think about. The other thing is they all come with these little feet. I don't know if you can see them. They've got these little black kind of feet that just stick on. Okay, they will be painted both sides. This is hand spray. So like this is powder coated, but as again you can't see it because it's black. That's the problem. Okay, any questions? I can take your Atari and display through my PCB and CPLD. Oh, okay. How can you do that? I can take your Atari and display through my PCB and CPLD. Yeah, but that's only going to be the high resolution. You know, I don't think you'll be able to take in the. I don't think you'll be able to do the low and medium resolution, Paul. We'll talk about that offline. That might be really useful. Okay, that's interesting. If it's possible, it just. I think we just need to correct the. I think Byron's just going to tweak some of the resistors or something to make sure he's not overdoing it. Or, but we'll fix it because I've got it. I want my Atari to work on my monitor. As I said, it's the only thing that's. It's the only one that's not working of the ones I've tried, and I've tried a lot. But anyway. Right. No, the Atari doesn't output Sky. It outputs RGB, but you can get SCART cables for it. I've got SCART cables, but I've got a VGA. But I think the VGA maybe only does high res. There must be something internally when it's going through there. Oh, Dave, leave it. But it is funny. He's got. I remember him at the show. I'm going to drive over that Atari. Be honest, your car would probably break. That Atari is really strong. I'm really impressive actually. So I wouldn't have bought one, but I'm really. Oh, I nearly did actually. I nearly bought one. Yeah. Right, come on. Questions. Anything you like? You got 5 minutes to ask me an awkward question. Time's up. Someone type a question. I tend to answer the questions, so just ask the bloody question. No questions. Right. In that case, I'll tell you what I will do. Well, you've seen lots of pictures of them, haven't you? Now, I mean, you can go to the website. Go to my website and you can have a look at the pictures there. If you do want to buy one of the, let me just switch over. If you do want to buy one of these, don't leave it too long. There's lots of pictures on it, but then you can see these. So this is obviously the 1200. My 1200 looks fantastic on it actually. If you look down here, see how nice it looks with that cutout. That's why I had to have the cutout. You probably know the story that I had to cut out the overhang too long, and when I put a 1084 it went donk. Which is quite funny. My wife said it's going to be too big, it's going to fall over. It went donk. But yeah, so that was, but that's all fixed now. And then we got like on Atari. Close your eyes, Dave. I think that looks really nice. And you can see there the MIDI connectors. If you get right angle ones, they can go underneath the monitor. I thought that was quite neat. I've got a couple of them to show people. BBC Micro. There is a better monitor stand for the BBC Micro, to be fair. Out there about the same price. I based my price on that one to see what I thought was reasonable. That one was £40 including VAT. Mine's 35 or 32.50 if you buy two, or 35 plus VAT. About the same price. Commodore 64. CDTV. So you can slide your keyboard underneath it. Hence Garage. Then my Crystal 500, but more importantly, people ask, can you put a side drive on it? Yeah, side drive on it, because it's only 1.5 mil steel, and you just slide it in. As long as you're careful, don't put it in first, and then make sure it's pressed together, and then power it up. I also put the power supply behind the computer as well, and it tidies everything up. It's actually really nice, but I'm bound to say that. And then his dimensions. There you go. Right, so there's a couple of questions. Question: I'm in Portugal. I have a case made by you, but was before Brexit. Okay, I'm not telling you the price. That's a lot more than it's going to be. Not a lot more. I'm not telling you the price, but it's not that much. And the Brexit has caused a problem. But the Brexit has only caused. Look, I'm a Remainer. It's really important to understand this. I am a bloody Remainer, and when we had Brexit, me and my older son literally cried because it was the stupidest thing this country's ever done. What a bunch of morons. Anyway, it doesn't really affect you that much. The only thing it affects you is this: if you order a product, now everything I ship is excluding VAT. If you're in the UK, right? I add the VAT. If you're not in the UK and I ship it, there's no VAT. When it gets to you, you have to pay your VAT. Tough, right? You got to pay it. That's all there is to it. So the Brexit hasn't done anything there. What Brexit has done, all the couriers you see now, whereas before we could just ship it with VAT and the EU was fine with that, right? And then you didn't notice it. But now you know. Now you can see the price with it, and you're getting the same you're getting the excluding VAT price. So all that happens when it comes to you, you have to pay the VAT, right? It's still costing you the same as it would cost here. It's just you're paying it at your end, right? That's one thing. However, Brexit has done this. All the couriers, when they process the VAT, they usually put a charge on for handling it between 5 and 10 euros or dollars or whatever it is. And it's quite annoying. It's more annoying with my monitor stands because they're quite low value. But with a big system, it's not quite so bad. But it doesn't now the good ones, like the main ones. It doesn't matter if it's a £10,000 order or a £50 order. It's still the same handling charge. It's a little bit annoying, but that's just because that's what they do when they have to process the VAT. That's the only thing Brexit has done. Shipping really doesn't affect because my stuff just goes straight through. I do all the paperwork up front. We do it really well, so it doesn't affect. Brexit doesn't really affect it. It's just the hassle. You got to pay your VAT the other way, and that's the only difference. How do you load the file browsers on Drive Nihilist? Whatever. You know how to do that, but I'm not talking about it here. Just go on. Was there a mention when the Kickstarter was kicking in? Nice, I like that phrase. No, there wasn't. It was going to be like probably it would have been over by now. Let's be honest, if it hadn't been for Neil, but the Neil incident was a good thing. It was a really good thing because it made me go, okay, this panel thing I've not got quite right, and so I stepped back instead of diving in because I thought I was ready, but it turned out I wasn't. So, but it's also made me then go in for like now on CGA, EGA, and all the other bits and pieces that we're doing. It's going to be a more rounded Kickstarter, again. Hopefully people can buy into the idea what you're buying is a platform, and then you buy an optional panel to go with it. You might want to plug in, for example, our GBS pack in it. You might want to have a choice of panels, panel size, all these kind of things. So you'll be able to do that later on. So when we can actually afford to, I can fly to the panel makers in like Korea or China, wherever it's going to be, and I can go there because I've ordered so far about 8 different panels, and only 3 of them. I got a 15-inch, a 17, and 19, all made by the same company, all come from the same company. But the others I chose were rubbish. I mean, literally rubbish. So you buy them, they're rubbish. And there's thousands. So how can you? I can't order all of them. So it's cheaper to fly there once the Kickstarter is a success. Simple. Paul, please don't. Let's not go on about. Don't get me started on. Let's not fall out on Brexit. Hate bloody Brexit. Sorry. Um, they charge me about 30%. No, right, okay, so they don't charge 30%. What they charge is 20% VAT and probably 10% for the handling charge, depending on how much of the value. So you really got to understand. It depends on the value of the product you've shipped. Now, if you're being charged 30%, then you're being ripped off. But as I said, most of them is the normal VAT, whatever that VAT is. I don't know what your VAT is, plus this handling charge. And you have to bear in mind the handling charge is usually the same regardless. Okay, right, yeah. I really do like the whole platform approach. I think, yeah. I mean, look, I look. To be honest, this is to do with Neil, because I was trying to make it a simplified package for people. Which, I mean, I really like this panel. But everyone's different, and so I realised that I've got to give panel options, because this is a platform. It's literally because some people want to put a Mister in it, some people want to put a Pi in it, some don't want to put anything in it. They just want to have all those ports on the back and put all the connectors inside. So it is a platform. Do you want me to create some renders showing black garages and monitors? No, not really. I don't think it's worth it, Paul. Because they never look any, the black things never look any good, They either look grey if you get it the lighter colours, but no. You probably find that Paul's not going to talk to him anymore because now I've said about the Brexit thing. We'll talk about that. Everything I get from the UK now, I must pay 30% more. Well, I'm not sure about that. You can give me an example, but there's nothing to do with that. If your VAT is 22%, you get an 8% charge. I don't know. That is the thing, and that's, to be fair, all Brexit's done is make us like we're shipping to the US or we're shipping to Australia, and all the couriers, when they have to take care of the VAT for the country, they do a handling charge, and as simple as that. Now, this is one of the things what I've done is with the Australians, one of them's ordered a whole bunch of them, and we kind of got the optimum number, and to ship. Bloody expensive going to Australia, but by shipping him 8 of my monitors, garages, stands, it worked out. It was £200 send 8, which is stupid, but it worked out £25 each. So he's got them, and people over in Australia are actually buying them from him. So yes, it's still expensive, but it's a lot cheaper. Now, it's not much I can do about it. It costs a lot of money to ship, and they are made here. They're made in the UK, so more €30. 30. Well, look, that doesn't mean anything to me, because I don't know what the value of the product was that was shipped. That means nothing. But if you was charged €30 handling charge, that is actually unreasonable. But most of them tend to be €5 to €10 ish handling charge, and that's just the paperwork. But it tends to be the same for even larger figures. They just have this handling charge. They just shove it on. If they have to do the process of VAT, that's what they charge. It's just, that's the annoying thing about the since Brexit, is we have to but we still had to do that for outside of Europe. But inside Europe was cushioned, and we were all the same, VAT customs area. So we didn't have to worry about that. We just shipped it. It was easy. But now it's just made things difficult. But that's not political, Paul. That's a reality, right? About being an exporter. It's a lot harder, but we'll deal with it. Right. Okay. I'm gonna go to bed, so I'm gonna call it a day now. Thanks for joining, everyone. I don't even know. Oh, it's the usual number. Okay. I will possibly see you next week, and maybe another update. Not sure. I mean, I'm going to do a video on this lovely machine out behind me. I'm not sure when I'll do that. I'm going to try now, because I'm spending more time. I'm going to try and start doing some videos, because I bought a load of machines. It'd be nice to do some videos about them. And that's it really. But thanks for joining in, and I will update you. I've got to put the Happy's little board in a proper chassis, so I can mount that internally. But then that'll obviously be quite nice. And that's it really. Okay, so speak to you soon, and if I can find the streaming button, unless there's any more questions. Black Regis. Long live Commodore. Alright, I'll speak to you guys soon, and I'll see you later. Bye. Oh yeah, then there's a bye.